am Zoe Octavia Obaze, and I have come to highlight, call our attention, wake us up to a very interesting conversation. But before I do that, I'd like to acknowledge that my co host, our very own steady and slick Somi, is unavoidably absent. But I have with me a promising, visionary, amazing woman all the way from Uganda. Before I go there, I'd like to practice what I've been taught. So if you're joining us from Uganda, I have been taught to say to you, Moi suze mutia. I hope I got that properly. And that's a fine good afternoon to you. Hi, Rachel Akampe Mugabe. It's good to see you.
Hi, Zoe. Hi, Zoe.
How is Uganda today?
Ghana is beautiful. It's a bit chilly, but very
Ah,
beautiful as usual. Yes.
awesome, awesome, awesome. It's great to have you here. Thank you so very much. So where exactly in Uganda are you joining us from?
Now, I'm joining in from Busia. Busia is border with Kenya, and I am so
Oh,
delighted to be here. Yes.
we are delighted to have you here as well. I am joining in
Thank
from Lagos, Nigeria. This precisely is Digits 1024 Radio. They are the producers and the supporters, the sponsors of the ARAL show. Once again, this is the ARAL show, Afrimums Raising African Leaders, and I am Zoe Octavia Obaze. How do
thank
we raise
you.
our sons deliberately? To become fathers, to become husbands in the future. The conversation today is centered around raising the African boy child to be a well rounded individual, particularly for the African continent, because we are hoping for a very promising 2050. Rachel, please, I think that you permit me to tell the world about you. Can I?
Yes, please. Go ahead.
All right. Thank you. All right. Right here with me is Akampe Rachel Mugabe. She is a Ugandan from Munyankore tribe. I hope I got that. Pardon me. She's married to Alan Mugabe, an amazing man. They are parents to one daughter and two sons. Mugabe Akampe Mrs. is a social worker and project director in a sponsorship program under Compassion International. She is a mother, a mentor, and a worshiper of the living God. She believes that it is a man's role to properly lead his family. Therefore, it is the responsibility of parents to nurture their boys for leadership, especially in preparation for the husband and the fatherly role. Once again, you're welcome to the Arrow Show, Rachel. Good to have you.
Thank you, Zoe. I'm so happy to be here.
Thank you so much. So I think we should just dive in immediately. So please, wherever it is you're joining us from, please subscribe to this YouTube channel. You can equally follow Digits 1024 for all of your refreshing content. Please, Rachel, share with us what triggered your interest in this subject. Why are you interested in this conversation? What's your interest?
Oh, thank you so much, Zoe. I'm so happy once again to be here. I'll go straight to the point. I'm born in a family of only girls. We don't have a brother, so I didn't know much
Ah.
about boys and the boy child, yes. But my previous workplace, I realized that I am having more girls graduating from college, more girls graduating from school, more girls getting degrees, getting better than the boys. That's when it struck my mind that actually the boy child is being neglected from the
Mm.
80s, it used to be the boy child taken to school, girls were supposed to get married, blah, 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 until feminism started and the girl child now was brought on top. Now the girl child is pampered, the girl child has this, we are looking out for the girl child. In schools, we have senior woman teacher, we don't have a senior man teacher. So I realized there's a gender gap whereby
Mm.
the boys are left to somehow grow while girls are being nurtured. So that is when it
Yeah.
took my mind. And when I became a mother of boys, I was like, oops, This is it. I think we need to make a difference.
Yeah. Yeah, I
Yeah.
like the fact. Thank you so much, Rachel. I like the fact that you were observant of your environment. You noticed a trend, it's caught your attention. You began to think about it. And when should I say, the ball was then put in your net, you realized you had to do something about it. So before we even
Yes.
delve into how to deliberately and intentionally raise our sons, I want to ask, what positive impact do you think it would have on us as Africans, whether in Uganda or Nigeria or Ghana or Liberia or whichever of the 54 countries of Africa? What impact do you think raising our sons intentionally will have on us as a continent?
Thank you so much, Zoe. First of all, from the beginning, God created man as a head,
Mm,
as a leader. And so, if the boys are not nurtured, if the men are not raised to be leaders, there will be a lot of imbalance. So, if the boys are raised, if the boys are nurtured to be leaders, we shall have a stable continent, I believe. Because according to my research, more girls are graduating, more girls are getting leadership positions than the boys, which is the role of the man, which is the
mm,
God given potential. God, in His sovereignty, thought that a man should be the head. And so, if we have the head that is raised properly, the head that is raised well, we shall, first of all, have stable leadership in
mm,
Africa. And that's when we shall get stable families. These days, the rate of divorce is so high because the girls are educated, the girls are told ABCDE, and the boy child is not being mentored to be a man, is not being
true.
mentored into the same. So, the
Yeah.
family will also be stable because we are going back to the origin, we are going back to the foundation that God intended from the beginning.
Thank you
Yes,
so
thank you.
much, Rachel. Listening to you, I remember what I shared on my social media yesterday, which was in preparation to today's conversation, which is that the average girl child from very early in life is being prepared to be a wife and a mother.
Yes.
She's being taught that, oh, someday you're going to be someone's wife, someday you're going to be someone's mother. But she goes into marriage and she is paired or coupled with someone that is the man who has hardly ever been prepared for that role. And
Yes.
it struck me this morning something very interesting. When we give birth to our girl child, right? We give them toys like a doll. And then we
Yes.
teach them how to weave our doll's hair. What is that? We are preparing her to be a mother. We
Yes.
give her something like a tiny spoon and a tiny plate, preparing her for her role as a wife. But what do we give our sons? Whether or not they plan to be soldiers, we give them guns and we teach them, poo, poo. Hello, where is the role of how are we preparing them to be boys? So I want to ask you, please, from the fact that you have noticed this challenge, right, and you have begun to act on it, I want to then ask you, what practical ways can we as African parents begin to prepare our sons for their roles as fathers and husbands in the future?
Yes, thank you very much. There's this saying that monkey see, monkey do. I really think it is important for us to begin doing what we would want them to do, and then they
Mm,
will see from us. Like you said, when a mother is raising a girl child, they prepare them for that part of womanhood where we know this is going to be this, is going to be a mother. But then practically, we need also the fathers to come in and join in the struggle. Come and tell their
true.
boys, come and tell their fathers, play a role. How does the father behave? How does the father look like? And then these boys will also learn from their fathers. Because even in scripture,
Yeah.
you're supposed to have you see what someone is doing and you emulate them, like Paul says. So I think practically we can have men being mentors. It is better for
Exactly.
someone to learn from someone they admire. So if you could have men mentoring these young boys, a certain man work with a certain young man, maybe one or two, and teach them how to be fathers, teach them how to be husbands, and practice what you're telling them. So
Yeah.
apart from that, we can also pray for them because sometimes we ignore prayer, but it is very important that we can pray for them because the Bible says the king's heart is in the hands of the Lord. So he can twist it in
Yeah.
any direction. So we can also
Yeah.
pray for them, but also we need to engage them in some activities. When
Mm,
in a home you find the girl is taught how to wash utensils, you force your girl to learn how to wash utensils, but then the
yeah.
boy feels like that is a role, it is a gender role. But then I
Mm,
think we need to tell them that it's not a gender role. We need to tell them that
yeah.
it is It's a personality thing that a man can also do this, a man can also do this, because in future, this man needs to help his wife.
Yeah. Yeah.
He needs to do some chores at home, at least help around, be supportive.
Yeah. Thank you
Yes,
so
something.
very much, Rachel. Listening
Sure.
to you, I'm really excited that if there's one thing that we can achieve on this call is if we can get ourselves as Africans, right, to go from the point of being unconsciously incompetent where we do not even know that we have a problem. If we can move
Mm,
from that point to the point where we realize that, oh, there is a loop here, there is a challenge here, and we need to begin to address it, then we have made some progress. Because now we have seen that we need fathers to rise up and play their roles. We need fathers to lead their sons. We need fathers to have difficult conversations with their sons where you teach your son, this is not how to treat a girl. This is not how to treat a woman. Or rather, this is what to say, and this is how to say what to say. So we are
mm,
saying that we have observed that sons are not being taught properly how to prepare for their roles as fathers and as husbands. And what we can
mm.
begin to do is have the men take up their sons and show
Yes.
them how it should be done. You can even teach them from your mistakes. This was something I did with your mother that wasn't right. And this is how I think you should do it better when it's your turn.
Mm.
Thank you so very much once again. If you're just joining us, this is the ARAL show, Afrimums Raising African Leaders. And our conversation is on raising a well rounded African boy for the future. Rachel is joining us. Rachel Akampa Mugabe. I love your name. So
Thank
beautiful.
you.
She's joining us from Uganda. And I want to ask, is there some kind of a support system, a policy that supports raising the boy child intentionally in Uganda? Just for the knowledge, perhaps for someone listening to us in Uganda or anywhere else in Africa.
Unfortunately, it's not so loud. We do not have that policy. We do not have anything currently in Uganda, but we have all these other things. We have girl initiatives everywhere, but it is rare. I really don't think we have any policy in Uganda. There's just a friend of mine who has begun something about a boy child. There are just a few individuals who are starting also to realize the need for helping boys develop, for nurturing the boys. So you find a few boot camps, a few conferences here and there for the boys, but there's practically nothing like that in Uganda.
Okay. Okay. Thank
Yeah.
you so much, Rachel. But the fact that you are here having this conversation means that somebody can actually reach out to you and
Mm.
say, okay, you know what? This your interest and your concern, also something on my mind, and then they can start working with you. Because by the way, Rachel is also a project director and supervisor with Compassion International. And if you're watching this YouTube show and you would like to partner with someone in Uganda to raise the boy child intentionally, Rachel is somebody. Akampa Mugabe, pardon me, is someone you would like to reach out to. Okay, just a
Yes.
quick one. By the way, if you have never heard about Uganda or you are not so familiar, these people are known as the Pearl of Africa. They are somewhere
Yes.
in East Africa. They have
Yes.
breathtaking landscapes and a vibrant biodiversity. It is home to Lake Victoria, the world's largest
Mhm.
tropical lake.
Yes.
What else? What's another interesting thing? They have this wildlife. They are wildlife enthusiasts. They have quite a number
Mhm.
of languages and about 50 ethnic groups.
Mhm.
The Baganda is the largest ethnic group, right? Baganda. Did I get that right? Did I get the pronunciation right? Okay.
Yes.
Um, Awesome, awesome. Is a fast growing nation with agriculture forming the backbone of their economy. Okay, so Rachel, I wish we had so much time to have conversations with you. But right now, I want you to please, in your local dialect, speak first of all to your own people, and then you can translate a few of it to the rest of Africa. I want you to please speak directly to the people of Uganda on the need to raise their sons intentionally to be husbands and fathers in the future using your local dialects. Let's go.
It's always, always, always. Hey, in my local dialect, this is what I can say.
In two
Abazi,
minutes. Hello, Rachel, are you there? Are you there, please? Okay, Pendy, when she joins in, please, if you're joining us just now, you're just joining the ARAL show, please, I'd like for you to comment on the comment section right there on the ARAL show. Please share with us what your thoughts are on raising the African child deliberately. Rachel, are you there? We lost you for a while. Are you back? Oh, my. Okay. Rachel, are you there? Okay. So, like we have been saying before the network interrupted, I'd like us to realize and understand that we cannot adequately prepare our daughters in hopes that they become well-rounded women, well-rounded wives, and well-rounded mothers, and leave them to chance that once they get into their homes, they would find a man that is all just self-made when there has not been some intentionality in raising them. Remember that the family remains the tiniest unit of society. And if as a continent we have hopes of a 2050 that is promising, then we would also need to get ourselves prepared by raising both our sons and our daughters intentionally. For instance, you can teach your son how to get the house cleaned up. You can teach them how to cook. You can teach them how to empathize with people when they're in need. These are factors we can put into play. We have been joined by a guest all the way from Uganda, and she has shared with us that just like a number of us have found in various countries of Africa where we have found ourselves, there is the same problem, and it's a problem of neglect of the boy child. And let's not forget that the boy child oftentimes comes into leadership and is expected to carry out certain roles. But if he has not been adequately prepared for them, we would have him either failing outrightly or learning on the job. Of course, we can do better when we are deliberate. Please, I'd like for you to comment on the section what you have found most insightful about this conversation. We would be delighted to have you know. Once again, this is Digits 1024 empowering and supporting the ARAL show, Afrimums Raising African Leaders. I am Zoe Octavia Obaze, and it's always a delight to have you join in. Okay, I'm hoping that, please confirm if you can hear me. I'm also hoping that our guest is back on the show. Okay, pending when she's back, I'd also want to intimate you on a few facts about Uganda. Please join me on this ride. The Ugandan country boasts of diverse ecosystems ranging from dense tropical rainforests to expansive savannas, making it a haven for wildlife enthusiasts. Uganda is particularly famous for the mountain gorillas in the Bwindi Impenetrable Forest, a UNESCO World Heritage Site where visitors can embark on unforgettable gorilla trekking adventures. But please be careful when you go there. We love you too much. Okay. Uganda is a tapestry of traditions and languages with over 50 ethnic groups and nearly as many languages spoken. Okay, the largest ethnic group in Uganda is the Baganda, and it contributes significantly to Uganda's rich cultural heritage, particularly through music, dance, and storytelling. Uganda's traditional festival known as the Imbalu, circumcision ceremony of the Bagisu, and the Kadodi drum dances provides a glimpse into the country's deeply rooted customs. Ugandans are celebrated for their hospitality and with the concept of Ubuntu Bulamu, a sense of community and humanity. They have that as the heart of their way of life. Economically, Uganda is one of Africa's fastest growing nations, with agriculture forming their backbone. They have fertile soils and favorable climates, and it allows them for the production of coffee, tea, and bananas. And Uganda is one of the world's leading coffee exporters. Interesting. So, of course, if you like some good coffee, you know you should pay Uganda a visit. Okay. Additionally, they discovered oil and they have a reserve of that. And that's one of their newest opportunities that they are seizing that as well as development through sustainable management as well. Despite challenges like poverty and healthcare limitations, Uganda is making strides in education and infrastructure, positioning themselves as a beacon of resilience and potential in East Africa. Our guests Okay, so our guest, Mrs. Rachel Akampa Mugabe, joined us and shared with us some very insightful thoughts. One of the things she said to herself is she was born into a family of just girls and of course didn't have a brother. But then she said to herself that as she began to interface with society at large, she began to observe that more girls were taking leadership positions and were being exposed to education and learning. She became concerned, and as should I say destiny would have it, she got married to Mr. Alan Mugabe and they had a son, and then they had another son, and so she has two sons, and she has taken it upon herself to raise her sons intentionally and deliberately. I asked her that what would be the impact, the positive impact of raising our sons deliberately, and she said to us, if we can raise our sons intentionally, then we would as well be raising leaders who are well-rounded, because of course the boys would be the ones who would become men, they would be fathers, and they would be husbands. She also said to us that if we have sons who are being raised intentionally by their fathers, they can learn from them because they would have seen how not to do things and also how to do things better. So the counsel from our guest, Mrs. Rachel Akampa Mugabe, is, fathers, please take up your sons as your responsibility. Teach them all that you know. Teach them and show them the mistakes you have made. Empower them to make better choices in future, and we just might be on our way to a promising 2050. If you're joining us, this is the ARAL show, Afrimums Raising African Leaders. Our conversation has been around raising well-rounded African boys. And why are we raising them? Because we are hoping that in the near future, we would have well-rounded African men and, of course, well-rounded male African leaders. They would go on to raise boys and girls who will be equally well-rounded, and then we just might be solving the problem of leadership in our continent. Thank you so very much for joining us. Unfortunately, we have had some network glitch that has ensured that our guest is not here up until now, but she has left such indelible marks on us, and her words will travel with us till we see again. So please, till we see again, do not forget to subscribe to the ARAL Show on YouTube, as well as to follow Digits 1024 Radio. Till I see you again, raise your son intentionally, raise your daughter intentionally, and remember to tell the world that Africa is coming.
From all corners of Africa, rise from your slumber. The time is now. Lift your voices. Rise from all corners of Africa, rise from your slumber. The time is now. Lift your voices. Take action. Make your mark. Intentionally raise the leaders of tomorrow. This is the ARAL show where we plant the seeds of greatness in our children. Africa's future, nurture their dreams, empower their minds, mold them into the leaders our continent needs. A new breed of African leaders will rise, empowered by the love and wisdom of Afrimums. They will stand tall, face challenges with courage, transforming our nations one dream at a time. This is the ARAL show where we plant the seeds of greatness in our children. Africa's future, we nurture their dreams, empower their minds, mold them into the leaders our continent needs. Afrimums. United in purpose, we stand strong, lifting each other, supporting our cause. Together we'll build a brighter tomorrow for our children, our families, our Africa. This is the ARAL show where we plant the seeds.